From the availability and representativeness heuristics, we see how memorability, imaginability, and similarity serve as shortcuts in helping people form perceptions of risk. We now look at another important heuristic, affect, which is an influential cue in guiding people's judgments and perceptions. Affect refers to the subtle emotions that people experience as good or bad feelings. Affective responses occur rapidly and automatically, and reliance on such feelings as a mental shortcut can be characterized as the affect heuristic. For instance, you hear the news about nuclear power, and there might be this automatic reaction, that not so good feeling inside you which happens prior to any conscious thought. And that feeling then shapes and colors the subsequent thoughts and responses you may have. Although we may use logic, reason, and calculated deliberation when considering risks, intuitive feelings are still the instinctive, predominant approach by which we evaluate risk. But why? That's because reliance on affect and emotion is a quicker, easier, and more efficient way to navigate in a complex, uncertain, and sometimes dangerous world. You can probably recall how relying on how you felt about something was far easier and more efficient than weighing the pros and cons of various reasons or retrieving relevant examples from memory. We can even experience risk as feelings when we have fast, instinctive reactions to danger. The affect heuristic explains why affect directs judgments of risks and benefits. Clearly, many people engage in activities which they know are highly risky, like extreme sports or car racing, because they derive huge enjoyment from them. But curiously, studies have found an inverse seesaw-like relationship between perceived risk and benefit. When people have favorable feelings toward an activity or object, like swimming or a motorbike, they tend to perceive lower risks and higher benefits. Conversely, if their feelings toward it are unfavorable, they tend to judge the opposite. They perceive the activity or object as having high risk and low benefit. Let me use nuclear power as an example. People might see it this way. Nuclear power is a bad thing. Here, a negative affect. Risk is also bad. Now, we've associated negative affect with both nuclear and risk. So nuclear power must be very risky. Here, our judgment of risk. And since nuclear power is risky, it must not be beneficial. Here, a judgment of low benefit. But when people feel positively toward an activity or object, such as swimming, it tips the seesaw the other way. Swimming is great, so it should carry lower risk and offer higher benefit. So you see here how the affect heuristic plays out, where affect precedes and directs judgments of risk and benefit. The affect heuristic further suggests that if affect guides perceptions of risk and benefit, providing information about an activity's benefits should change perception of its risk, and providing information about the activity's risk should change perception of its benefits. For example, information stating that benefit is high for technologies such as 5G or autonomous cars will lead to more positive overall affect that would in turn decrease perceived risk. Or information might state that the risk is low, leading to more positive affect, which induces perceptions that the benefits would be high. On the flip side, information might indicate that an activity or technology has little or low benefit. This could negatively color the overall affective evaluation, increasing perceived risk. Or there might be information that says the risks are high for that technology, leading to negative affect and low perceived benefit. In turn, affect can influence how much risk one is likely to take. Emotions such as fear or worry motivate us to remove ourselves from a dangerous situation or to change the environment so that we reduce our feeling of being at risk. In contrast, when we feel good about a particular object or activity, we tend to perceive the risk to be lower, and that influences us to make more risk-seeking decisions. Now, you've seen how affect can be transformed by something as simple as hearing information about benefit or risk. Because affect can be easily manipulated, reliance on affect can misguide our perceptions and decisions. Moreover, research has shown that risks associated with strong feelings can overwhelm us even though their likelihood is remote. Because risk as feelings tends to place more weight on dreaded consequences, we need to apply rational analysis to give us perspective on the likelihood of such consequences. For example, when feelings of fear move people to consider purchasing a handgun to protect against terrorists, our analytic mind should also consider the evidence showing that a gun fired in the home is 22 times more likely to harm oneself or a friend or family member than to harm an unknown hostile intruder.